Hello. We're live, gang. Can y'all hear me? Can I hear you? Hello.
Like all. Hello.
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 I forgot my Discord.
Hello.
I forgot my Discord mic was muted.
Oh, I just saw the bats. Okay.
Yep.
Freaking bats. Love Halloween.
Love Halloween.
Oh. Hello, guys. How we doing on Sunday? Oh God, I feel like it's been a hot minute since we were here last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
How many people we got coming in here? Let's see. Got 3 peeps. Got a few. Got 4. Let people trickle in.
Nice.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that might be us 4.
Us.
Oh no.
We don't talk about it.
Oh shit! I spoke what was supposed to be unspoken.
It was understood.
I don't have mine pulled up, so I just have the chat.
Oh man.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I know. I'm the worst. We just let peeps trickle in. Give it some time. Last time it took a few minutes for it to pop off.
Yeah. It's true.
So
So, how's
content, yeah.
Yeah, content.
Yeah.
Ah,
We're currently making everyone content.
I need you some content.
Magic. I'm gonna start doing bad magic tricks.
Go ahead.
Well,
Please do.
I guess we can do our really hamstrung intro.
Second.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, there we go.
How's this work?
Spooky Squad Sunday show where you come for bad magic and even worse jokes.
Yes.
And occasionally we talk about ghosts.
Every now and then.
Yeah, only once in a while.
Yeah.
If you guys are in the chat, say hey. We want to talk to you guys. We want to have a serious discussion about spooky shit.
Well, that's a good picture for the stream I just saw.
I know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the Opera House picture. That was that was when we first he left, the mayor left.
Yeah.
And we got that, which is cool.
Which is still wild, by the way. I still can't believe
Yeah.
he's just like, here's the keys. By the way,
No.
our next showing's 4 p.m. tomorrow, so I guess I have to kick you out then. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Walk
right.
up before you leave.
Yeah, that was which we'll talk about that. That's I agree that was a wild time.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh God, but I guess we'll do our intros. Hi, I'm Tom. You met us 2 weeks ago, and you also maybe follow us on the gram. We don't have a page in the good book yet. By the good book, I mean the Facebook.
No. Not yet.
no.
Sorry.
I'm Chris.
Yeah.
If this is your first time watching,
That's it.
I'm Abby.
I was waiting for one of you two. It's your turn.
Ooh.
I like how we're all awkward on camera. Like we don't know what to say.
No.
Yeah. Like
Very
we haven't
new.
been talking for the last hour on here.
Right.
Yeah.
Until we get to the actual content, we're like,
We're like shit. Hi, I'm Haley.
Well, I don't know. A McBussy might make bad comments.
My good.
One of my coworkers watches this.
I hope that doesn't make it in. Ladies and gentlemen, I will just go ahead and say this. After you've been awake for about, I don't know, probably 18 hours, maybe 20 hours, and it's like 3 in the morning, and you're on your way home from spending all night at a spooky opera house. Everything is hilarious. It could be someone
Anything.
just like, we could have almost died, and we would have just been like,
Rip.
oh man.
It's a good thing you didn't have your episode on that night, because we probably might have just laughed about it.
Oh my god.
It's true.
We've toyed with the idea of making this a podcast for like the drive back. So if that's something you all would be interested in, let us know in the little sidebar thingy, or let us know on Instagram. And then you'll get to hear all of our extremely tired, fantastic, totally funny content on the way home.
I feel like if we'd start doing a podcast, that might be its own thing. It's just like, we'll just call it the drive back, and it will just be us at like borderline slap happy.
Yep. We'll also review whatever WoHo or McDonald's that we inevitably end up at. So it's also a food review podcast.
Yeah.
Can we
That's what the
please?
actual category will
We
be.
can take the audio recorders into wherever we're eating and just continue the podcast episode.
Once Waffle House starts opening dining rooms up again, I'm all for just going at like 4 in the morning and having Waffle House breakfast.
Absolutely.
Oh my
The
God.
background music of like clinking forks and plates and stuff, and just background noise. It's, I don't know, it's aesthetically pleasing to me. The sound, the interior of a Waffle House is the best soundstage.
Yep.
I can hear it now.
It's you just think about it for 2 seconds, it's there. It's in your mind. You envision it. You smell the $2 syrup that they bought from Kroger that day.
Oh God.
You can,
Only the finest at Waffle House.
you can also probably smell the alcohol from the gentleman three bar stools down from you.
You mean the one cooking?
I don't know. When you go to the people that always work at Waffle House, make me feel like we're family. But all the other people that come in are just like, man, it's been a wild time for the last 6 hours or so.
That depends
That's
entirely
funny.
on what Waffle House you go to, because they are not all made equal.
So, Spooky Squad Sunday Show, the Waffle House episode,
Yeah.
and we didn't even go to a Waffle House.
Like and subscribe for more WoHo content.
Yeah.
Whoa, content.
We need to also. We can, since we got everything set up in Streamlabs and everything, we can also set up a merch store if we want. So if you guys have any ideas about what merch you might want,
We might incentivize it with our
with our
coffee. Kofi coffee. Yep. So
If that would be a thing anybody would be interested in, let us know in the chat or on Instagram, or I don't know, what other social media? What is social media again?
literally anywhere.
Social media.
Except for the good book. We just said that.
Pass us in the streets and be like, I want a shirt. Okay. Got it.
Got it.
Yep.
Walk out of our next haunted place and be like, coffee mugs. Got it.
Got it.
Put
On
it in the notebook.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Yep.
Oh man.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Well, should we?
We can roll into it. I mean,
Yeah,
that was a solid intro as any. I think we nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
Bam.
So yeah, this what was it? What day did we go? If you watch the preview video over on YouTube, you know that 2 weeks ago on the 13th we investigated, or no, not the 13th, the 19th. Sorry.
19th and
The
20th.
19th, yeah. We went on Juneteenth. We went to the Rose Opera House in good old Cynthiana, Kentucky. Fun little town. It's got a lot of history for a small town. It's just north of Georgetown, Kentucky, about an hour and a half outside of Lexington. It's a little, honestly, it's kind of a town that if you blink, you'll miss it, kind of thing. It's really cool though because they have a lot more emphasis on local businesses than you would imagine in 2021, especially in a post-COVID era, which is really cool.
Yeah, they talked about they had an entire council they had put together with like a local business thing to help with COVID, so that local businesses that wouldn't close.
Yeah, it was a really cool place. The people that we met there were super nice, including, which we'll talk about him in a second, the mayor. He was super nice.
Mm-hmm.
And we stopped in a few of the little shops. I know we shared one of them on Instagram, which was like a spiritual kind of shop, which is kind of neat.
It was really cool. I liked it.
Oh yeah, do you you guys bought something there? The little.
I got it was like a tea towel or something. It said like smudge that shit with a little smudge stick on it. So, but it was really cool. The owner was really nice. And then the owner of the antique shop was really cool too. So if you ever get to go through there, get there early on a Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah, because everywhere closes at like 5.
Which apparently they said they're trying to work on, but everything does close early. So if you want to go there and have like a little day, it's a cute place to go have a day there and then go do your ghost hunting later that afternoon.
Yeah, I don't blame them though. Like working past 5 on a weekend's for the birds.
Yeah, I mean, what was the restaurant we ate at? It's what is it?
Bianca's.
It's Bianca's, but how did the mayor pronounce it? He was like, I guess that's
I
really
can't remember.
Bianchi's or
Yes,
I think
Yeah, he said like
yeah.
Bankies.
Bianchi's.
Yeah,
So
It was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was Chris.
that was funny.
That hot brown you got was giant.
It was massive, and I ended up throwing the rest of it away.
Monster.
Did you?
I mean, to
To
be
be fair,
fair,
it sat in a car for like 10 hours.
that's what
Yeah.
I was about to say. Oh man. But
I honestly
yeah,
didn't even give it a try.
I probably wouldn't have it. That's something once it sits, I don't know if I would go for it. But yeah, the inside of the Opera House you can see in the image in the background here.
Yeah.
It was built in, 1880 is what he said? 1880, 1882?
Something like that.
So somewhere around in there. 1871.
1871. So I was close. There have been only one death. There's only been one death accounted for in the entire area of the building. Which was
That they know of.
That they know of. Anyway, that's true.
So they don't actually know what was there before it was built, because wasn't like the whole area destroyed in the Civil War?
Yes, the battle
Yeah.
of the Battle of Cynthiana. There was 2 of them, and during either the first or the second one, the entire downtown area burnt down, I believe is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't know what was there before, but there is the 2 Civil War battlefields. There's a huge cemetery that you'll see in our B-roll over on our video on YouTube. That is, we barely scratched it. It's gigantic. So definitely, if you're in the area, it's a cool place to go to. We didn't get a chance to go to the battlefields, but that's probably something we might do on our next trip. But it's a really cool place. It's got a lot of history. The one death that they have in the area that they know of is, what do you say? It was a lawyer?
A law office.
No, it was in the law office, which is next to the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't the lawyer; it was a client who got shot in the head.
So that's the only one that they know of that's there. But they have a handful of active spirits there that we'll go through in just a second. But when we went in, the mayor actually is a co-owner of the building.
He's the one who showed us around.
Mm-hmm. He's the one who showed us around. He's a super nice guy. He gave us a tour of the whole building. They have the original area that's on the main top floor. They still have the silent movie projectors and stuff where they used to show those. The second floor, it has a balcony in the projection room, and then the base floor, or the ground floor, is where the main theater room and opera house is. As you can see here, that's in the background photo, that's that area. It still has some of its original seating in the balcony area from when they had segregated seating. So there's actually a subsection in the top. If you're facing the projector screen, on the top left-hand side, there is a whole section that has some of the original chairs and stuff from when it was segregated seating. during Reconstruction and Reformation era. So, pretty neat. A little bit of history. So that was cool.
It's also one of the only opera houses to still have that original segregation of seating still in contact.
Yeah. Which is also pretty cool. There's not a whole lot of places that have stuff like that anymore, for obvious reasons, but it's a neat little bit of history, even as terrible as it was. It's kind of humbling to see what people had to endure back then like that. So
yeah, and it is a clear, very clear example of the separate but equal is definitely not the case.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, half the seats in that area you couldn't even see the stage.
No.
Completely
No, you couldn't. Totally blocked. They built a wall in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, heaven forbid you have any meat on your bones like me and Tom. We wouldn't have fit in those seats.
Nope. I thought about it, but I don't think I would have got out.
We might have broke those seats, Tom.
Yeah, it was a
I
perfect
definitely,
example.
for sure, would have broke the seats.
Perfect example of like a timestamp in history of the mistreatment that took place.
For sure.
Yep.
And then they also have behind the stage, they have a sub-ground area that was where the dressing rooms and stuff were, and it is a super narrow staircase.
Yeah.
It's a super tight space, and the fact that anyone fit in there is beyond me. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any pictures of that area because you literally couldn't turn around.
Way too cramped.
Yeah. Well, because we went in like a line and we had to stay in that line. Like we couldn't move around each other or anything because that's how tight the hallway and everything was. So, it was hard to do anything down there. So we only went down there once and then came back up.
But the spirits that are fairly active in that area were, what the mayor said was, there's a prominent lady in white figure that usually roams the stairwell going from the ground floor up to the balcony floor, and then is also seen on the balcony. There are numerous spirits of children that are reported, and then there was one spirit who hasn't been accounted for in a while, so they don't know if he's moved on. But there was a man who is said to be extremely vulgar, so he will say, like curse words and stuff in EVPs and things like that. Which I don't think we experienced.
Well, we did get that one fuck on the spirit box.
That's true. That's fair. I forgot about that.
Your discretion advised.
Well, we already talked about how somebody got shot in the head, so...
True.
Which, by the way, they believe is who that vulgar ghost is.
Yep.
And he hasn't... The mayor, who gave us a little tour, said that he hasn't been heard from about 2 years, and that was about the time the man who shot the man in the lawyer's office passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe related.
Which, oddly enough, that must have happened, putting a timeline together, that must have happened fairly recently.
I tried to look it up just now. I don't know if you could tell, my camera was brighter. I was trying to Google shootings in Cynthiana, and there's been a lot more than I would have guessed.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was at a time, it was probably a very conflicted town, because it was during the Civil War era, it was under Northern control and it was under Southern control for a lot of that.
I just mean in the past 10 years.
Oh. Okay. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. But
the Siege of Cynthiana.
I think definitely next time we go back, we should do the battlefields. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
But it's also a little fun fact, which you probably saw in the little preview video, is that Cynthiana is home to the creator of The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman.
Mm-hmm.
And he recently made some contributions to the Opera House, and as a thank you, during Walking Dead Day, which they have every year there, they painted a giant mural on the back of the Opera House that depicts 4 of the main characters from The Walking Dead, which is really cool. So, neat little town with a lot going on.
Yeah, definitely.
What were you going to say, Chris? Oh, were you going to say, yeah, sorry, I thought I cut you off.
Nope.
I think there's maybe not. I'm pretty sure I put a picture of the mural in the photos too, if you wanted to show that.
Yeah, let me pull that up. Let me see. Oh, yeah. WalkingDead.jpg. Let me pull up evidence clip. Boom. There it is. It's really cool. It took them, what, how many cans of spray paint? I forget.
I can't remember. It had a number of.
It did, yeah.
But they did it in a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So crazy.
Yeah.
And then actually, while we're going through, I might as well. Here's the graveyard. We'll just do a little tour de Cynthiana. So here's the graveyard. This is one of the big catacomb vault areas that's right in the front of the cemetery, which is really cool. That's the Opera House. Opera House a little darker. Yeah, so we had a bunch of we had the whole place to ourselves. Like Chris, if you wanna tell them about that while I go through these photos.
Yeah, so when we showed up at the Opera House, the mayor was there behind the concession stand, and he sort of gave us a little tour, history of the place. Because I asked him like, yeah, no, just tell us everything that's going on. So he showed us all the hot spots where everything, a full tour of the area, some of the history where he talked about the man who got shot in the lawyer's office, he talked about the lady in white, the kids and all that, all the hauntings. And then he was like, yep, all right, so here's the keys. When you're done, just lock up the door, put it in the mailbox, and have a good one.
Yep.
And that was it. He just left.
Yeah, we asked him specifically. We were like, "Hey, is there a particular time that we need to be like out of here?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, I got a movie showing tomorrow at 4 p.m, so I'd have to kick you out then."
Yeah.
So he seriously, the Opera House that is owned by the city, he handed us the keys to and said, "Have a good time."
Yep.
And no one was there with us. He did not stay. He does live somewhere in town.
He said a block away.
But that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Super nice guy.
Yeah. Super nice, and it was nice to finally, because this was the first investigation where we actually had the building to ourselves, which was nice. So
I mean, I guess you could technically consider Whitesburg, but
true.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah.
True.
but we did have the history told by Idiots gang there with us. So this was actually the first one that we had done like solo.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was super cool. So it's also a lot. If anybody that's watching right now does end up going to Cynthiana and does go to the Opera House, there's a bar next door, and the only thing you have to watch out for is if your EVPs are not people coming through the wall from the bar. So make sure when you're doing that
But the bars
make a note.
close at midnight.
Yeah, the bars close at midnight.
So after that, it's safe.
And we definitely picked up people on our EVPs from the bar next door.
For sure.
110%. Yeah.
For sure. But now I guess we can go over some evidence if we want. Do we want to talk about like how we felt personally about the place? Like as like after a recap of the night, how do we feel like it was It was a weird experience, a good experience.
I mean, I think it was good. So it freaked me out. They were all down by which you can see it in the picture, down by the projection screen, and then I was in the hallway where we had all of our equipment at. And the staircase comes down to the right, and I heard like 5 footsteps, and with no explanation. There was nobody else in the building. They couldn't hear me. I was trying to yell down to them, so that freaked me out. But other than that, there wasn't a whole lot in person throughout the rest of the night that I felt like we got. So I mean, I think it was good overall. I'd like to go back. I would hope that we get more if we went back than we got this time. But I think it was worth it. So
I think it'll be interesting to see, because the History Told by ADS Gang is going next weekend on our recommendation. So it'll be interesting to see what they get and versus like what we get.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping.
Yeah, and if any of our viewers want to get into this sort of thing, that is a great place to to do it. Because as I said, it was $25 a person. Just bam, and here you go. Knock yourself out.
Yep.
Just be sure you're respectful is the only thing. That's the main thing with doing stuff like this, is because when people put that much trust in you, like obviously being I shouldn't have to say that, but you know.
Yeah. Leave it how it was when you got there.
Well, sure. I would hope our viewers don't need to be reminded of that.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, it was a good time. I would definitely want to go back, especially with some of these things that we got. It's kind of odd, and I kind of want to see if we can either debunk some of them at some point, or maybe even, who knows, maybe get something else. The first piece of evidence we could talk about if we want to, unless Abby, Chris, do you guys have anything to add about how we felt?
The only thing I'm going to say about how we felt was I was... If there's ghosts there, I'm a little disappointed in them. I felt like they were... if there are ghosts there, I felt like they did not want to give us anything. I felt like they were teasing us. Because when we first got there and we first set up, we heard a lot of footsteps coming from like inside the building, upstairs in the balcony area. And then after we got set up and we really got into like investigating, I felt like we didn't get a lot.
Yeah. And that's I really want to go back because of that, because we did hear those unexplained footsteps, and we're the only 4 in the building, and we're all together, and we're hearing it above us, like on and off, especially super early into the night. But then, like Chris said, it kind of died off the later we were there. So I would really like to go back to see if hopefully more stuff happens, if different stuff happens, especially after some of the EVPs that that we got. So yeah, I'm excited to go back.
I would definitely say, well, I mean, you got to think too, a lot of our EVPs when we were at the library in Whitesburg came from the second day that we were there.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just a matter of, I mean, everybody always says it's kind of like fishing. Maybe, new people coming in, it could be a little, hesitant to interact and stuff like that. So maybe going back when they're a little more familiar would be
It's true.
Better, for sure. But the bit of evidence that we should probably talk about first, since we don't have an actual visual or audio for it, because we had a few technical difficulties while we were there, needless to say.
Couple.
And none of them paranormal. all me, mostly. But we were in the main area, and if you look on the photo in the background, that first seat to the left as you go down the aisle, we had the EMF detector, because if you go on their website, you can see some of the evidence that they caught. They actually have seen a shadow man going through that area specifically. So we put the EMF detector on that armchair, on the chair that of the yeah, you know what I mean, on that there. And then we were at the far end, and we just took a seat in the first 3 rows. I think it was the second and the third specifically. And we just sat there and we just kind of, invited them to take a seat and, hang out with us and stuff like that. And we had the EMF detector read a flat 0 when it was up there for a baseline. And when we would ask questions and stuff, all of a sudden it started going off. And we would talk to it and we would say, like, if that's you, like, can you step away from it and make it stop? And it did. And then we asked, it's like, do you want to go ahead and take a seat? If so, you can go back in front of it. And it went off again. So it interacted with us a little bit. It wasn't necessarily 100% like communicating back and forth.
Remember that?
You don't remember? Because that happened.
Because we were all sitting down in like the front row, like trying to get it to work or some. I don't even remember what we were doing, but we were down towards the front, and that's when we all heard it go off.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if you were in there or not.
I thought he was because I sat on the far left. Abby sat in between you and Chris because Chris sat on the other end.
Oh, yeah.
I fell asleep.
Because Abby was like, "Did you get that on camera?" And I was like, "Nope, the camera stopped recording." And that's when we realized that the video camera had stopped working.
Yep.
Technical issue 1.
It was at that moment that Tom realized
Early in the night.
he fucked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was an interesting thing. We had something like that has happened to us on a previous investigation, which we will talk about in the future. That we don't really have an explanation for. It was really weird because if it was consistently going off the whole time, that'd be one thing, or if it was not going off at all, it'd be another thing. But the fact that it was going back and forth a little bit, plus it had sat there most of the night and not done anything, is pretty interesting. I don't know if I would say it's paranormal, just because technically electromagnetic fields can go wherever and just come up wherever, but all the power in the building, with the exception of the exit signs at the end of the hallway or at the end of the theater there that you can see, it was turned off. So and it was turned off at the breaker. Excuse me. It wasn't that we just turned off the lights. So definitely weird for sure. Do we want to start with EVPs?
Yep, let's do that.
Okay. We will start with the first Spirit Box EVP. And Abby and Haley caught this one in the upstairs hallway where it's allegedly the lady in white is. Sorry, it automatically started when I came up. Do you guys want to talk about what you were doing with the Spirit Box?
Yeah, so we went up there, which, other technical issue, there's about 6 hours worth of video that we have not been able to go through because of issues with that, so hopefully that'll be reviewed and posted as we find it. But we went up there to go do an EVP session. Halfway through, I think, Tom, you said you heard footsteps, so Chris went to go check that out. So Abby and I had turned on the Spirit Box just to try to get some answers. We were asking questions, and the clearest thing that we got that I could pull from the audio, because unfortunately I haven't been able to go through the video, we said, "Can you say hello, or is anyone there?" I can't remember exactly how we worded it, but we got a clear as day, like, hey, that came through the Spirit Box. We also got, we had asked her what color our shirts were. It said black, and then how many years it had been there, and it said 14. It sounded a little garbled on the actual audio itself, so I didn't include that, but I did include the one that says hi, and then hopefully we'll be able to get the other two on video playback. So that's what's in it.
All right, so this is that clip from that. It's very brief, but. And I'll play it one more time.
Can you say hello? Oh my god.
that was really weird when I first heard
Right?
that.
Yeah, because it is very clear. Just hi,
Yeah.
like exactly like how you just said it. It's not even an
It
exaggeration.
sounded
Just,
like one of
hi.
us had said it to the other.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just like this clear, chipper hi. So,
Yeah. Also, what was that banging noise at the end of that clip?
that I don't know. I think it was the chair. That might have been the chair. The thing we were sitting in. So that's the other thing too. We kind of had to announce that in the audio. We were sitting on this long bench, and every single time you would move like an inch, it would have this god awful creaking to it because it's an older thing. So I don't think there's any audio on here that it got left into, but that was one of the things we kind of had to announce too. So
Oh, it was in the spirit, the one we just listened to.
Mm.
oh well, never mind.
But yeah, it was strange because you got the obvious, like the one before it was the radio like coming through, right? It was a radio station
Yeah.
coming through, but immediately after that it's just like hi.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, if you watched our last discussion about Whitesburg and our first usage of the spirit box, we use it at 100. It's 100 milliseconds is what it changes frequencies at. So the fact that you're shifting that quickly between channels and you get like, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a quick high. It's at least like if I'm looking at the clip here, it's like 2 seconds, right?
I mean, it's a pretty quick high.
I mean,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is between channels, it wouldn't be a full clear at 100 milliseconds. Do you think?
If it, I feel like if it wasn't something intentional, it wouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't know. It was still weird. It
I
was
mean,
super clear.
yeah, that's probably the clearest one we've had, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Between that and then the hello that me and you got, Chris, that one was pretty clear that time too, in the basement at the library. But those are the only two that have came through like that clear. But we also have there's a couple more from upstairs. And this is another one from, I think it's not the Spirit Box session, but it's the EVP session you guys did immediately after. I think it's whenever you guys were up there doing it and I was doing my solos, I believe, when I was downstairs. But it's labeled upstairs high in the Google Drive. I'm not sure.
Yeah. That one, I think that was whenever we were at the table, whenever we also had the REM pod go off.
Oh, okay.
That's when this one was. So we were in, so there's the old theater and the new theater. We were on the bottom floor of the old theater, kind of like in the, I guess, like the galley area is what you would call it. But we had set up at the table. We had put basically everything on the table to try to pick something up. And that was when we got one.
So I'll go ahead and play that one.
If there is somebody in here, what's your name?
Did y'all hear that faint whisper? It's at the end, right? It's like right at the tail end.
Yeah.
It's right at the
Yeah,
end.
like right at the very end.
And it's very quiet. So if you're listening, go ahead and crank up the volume all the way up.
And
Yeah.
we'll go ahead and play it again.
If there is somebody in here, what's your name?
You know, it's really weird in Streamlabs. It will detect like how the audio is, and it actually picks it up just slightly. It's like a little,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Just a little bit.
definitely. I mean, we've gotten to the point now where we don't do any whispering or anything while we're there. I mean, we talk kind of quiet in some spaces, but we don't like we never talk like this because if we did, we're gonna totally screw ourselves in the end.
Yeah. And we were really good this time about announcing everything that happened. Thankfully, because listening to EVPs, there's a couple of times I was like, what was that? And then I hear myself go, door creaking.
Yep.
Yeah.
or when we are hearing footsteps and stuff, and we announce like coming out onto the balcony and stuff like that. And then there's another one. This is Chris. I'm not sure if this is one that you caught, but we were downstairs in the theater room at the stage, and you're talking about something. I think maybe asking questions, and at the end of it, there's just it's another whispery one, but it's a raspy kind of. Is it? I think it says nothing or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that's
what's
fun.
next?
So yeah, let me pull that one up here.
But next, we want to do the flashlight.
Yeah, I think we should leave there.
But next, we want to do the flashlight.
Yeah, I think we should leave there.
It's quick and you'll miss it.
Yeah, so it is right between and a pot. I have this bad habit of pausing a second in like my speech, like just now. It is right in between that pause when I'm talking in the audio.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and do it one more time.
But next, we want to do the flashlight.
Yeah, I think we should leave there.
That one's weird. I don't.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
because we were.
Also,
Go ahead.
I think that's upstairs, by the way. Same place as the upstairs high. I
Yeah.
think that was around the table in the old theater.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I cracked up whenever I was reviewing it. It's just like, what's next? Nothing.
Yeah, again, if that's a ghost, that's
That was their
Good
mood for the
synopsis.
night.
yeah, a good synopsis of what I said earlier about like, man, there's ghosts there. They're certainly playing hard to get.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the next ones that I want to play are in the upstairs hallway. One of them, the first one we'll play, is there's a weird, almost like, it's not a hiss, but it's kind of like a weird, just like sound with some footsteps. We were, this was when we were outside, actually, when we were taking a breather, and we had the REM pod and the voice recorder in the hallway upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So no one was in the building, and we were far enough away from it to where the outside noise wouldn't come through unless we were just being like super loud. But I'll go ahead and play. There's a couple from that I want you guys to listen to. So that one, it's very faint, but you can hear the footsteps. They sound like they're on the balcony near the end of that. Just like a couple, just like 1, 2.
This was the audio file "Walking in Strange Hiss," right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was that one. It's just, it's like 2 steps. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing super crazy.
Watch out.
And then this one was the tap, which that one. That one, it's like right in the middle. Again, it's a blink and you'll miss it thing, and it may not even be anything paranormal, but it's just like something kind of like not when you tap on the microphone, but if you like tapped directly next to it, like you were just tapping that wall there, just going like something like that. It's like right here. It's a weird one.
Yeah, I did sort of hear something in that one. It is like a little tap, almost like I don't know, if you like bump into like a little chair or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
not a whole lot there. But then there's these two, and then there's the stage. So we'll go ahead and do this one. So this is a big thing that they have said happens there a lot is whistling, which we caught 2 instances of. One of them is most of a tune, and then the other one is actually like just like one whistle and done. But they should be both pretty audible in these, especially the first one. So, but they'll say, like, you know, if you whistle a tune, sometimes somebody will finish it, or if someone, like, you'll hear somebody whistle part of a tune, like, in the building. And it's an opera house, so the acoustics are great. So if you hear something coming from the backstage area that's a whistle, you'll hear it in the balcony, like 100%. So this is when you guys were doing, Chris, this is when you were on the balcony, when you almost gave me a heart attack. And Abby, you and Haley were doing, you were in the hallway doing your, I think it was either Spirit Box or EVP session.
Okay.
You can hear it.
So I know later in the night, Chris, you whistled, but I don't think you whistled. You were whistling. What'd you whistle when you were there trying to get communication?
I whistled a ton of tunes.
The X-Files theme was the one that I kept hearing.
I never whistled the X-Files things, actually. I didn't.
And one of the EVPs I went over today, you did.
No, I didn't. I couldn't even whistle the X-Files tune right now. I don't know it.
Today we figured out that the ghosts are a huge fan of the X-Files.
Yeah.
I whistled Old Kentucky Home.
Yep.
I whistled Gloria and the Risers, and we whistled Old MacDonald.
So, I don't. Were we whistling?
You're right.
Were we whistling that
point?
early?
When was this?
This was early. This was when I was downstairs. You were on the balcony, and
So Tom was doing a solo.
yeah, this was when I was downstairs by
theater
myself. When you almost gave me a heart attack with the camera flash.
I don't remember.
I know we weren't.
No. This happened when we were asking questions on the spirit box.
Yeah, and we were behind a different door too, so you wouldn't have been able to hear us.
And this is just after I asked if there was like any kids or anybody downstairs with me.
I will say it depends on when exactly it was, because that upstairs balcony door is very squeaky.
So I compared that because we got a lot of that in the thing, and a lot of them you were really good about announcing, like, this is me coming through the door, this is me coming through the balcony.
Clearly, except the time I gave you a heart attack.
No, I realized you were on the balcony. I didn't expect the camera flash. Because I had, like, you had been up there for a bit, because I said that, like, I saw the movement with the laser grid. And that's when you said, okay, I'm going to come out. And you went out on the balcony, and you announced it. And then a few minutes had rolled by, and I completely forgot you were up there. And then the camera flash came out of nowhere. Which we will play on here, because there's a couple of times where we scared ourselves, which are pretty funny.
Yeah. But I don't know. That whistling is Old MacDonald.
Right. So that's like the only person I recall whistling was you, and I didn't know if you had whistled that or not. I know you had whistled the Old Kentucky Home and
because I whistled a ton of things, and then we got the footsteps when I did Old Kentucky Home, but that was much later in the night.
Mm-hmm. This was the first actual audio recording of the night from our Zoom.
I don't think I whistled that early.
I don't think so either, because you and Haley were the only ones whistling.
I can't whistle.
And it was much later. I can barely whistle.
Whenever we did it, we were all in the same room too.
Yeah.
So.
But then there's this one, which is not a tune. Did you guys hear that one? Abby, I think you're muted.
I feel like that. I mean, it's a much shorter sound. It's a much shorter whistle, but I feel like it's a lot higher pitched.
So this one came from the same audio clip of being upstairs in the hallway when we were outside taking a breather, updating social media.
So no one was in the building.
Yeah, no one was in the building. See, that sounds like the same tune of the whistle in the previous one. Actually, I would have guessed the same person is whistling in both of those.
Because
and actually,
of the tone?
they're probably whistling the same song because it sounds like the same note. Where it's like, no, it's that high one.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it sounds like, the same in both of them.
Yeah, I'll play it again. So yeah, that one's strange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's definitely weird.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for Abby. She's intently listening.
She is.
Or less.
Oh.
Now the question is though, where was that recorder? Because we were outside, true, but that was when we were outside. Oh, Max.
He won't leave me alone, so he gets to be here.
That was when we actually decided, like right before that, like, oh, we should try to do
whistling.
No, that was when we decided to try and do Old Kentucky Home because we'd already done the whistling on stage. And we went out, and I was trying to find a clip while you guys were updating social media.
So we had a recorder.
So it's in that hallway in the upstairs where next to the projection room where we had the REM pod set up and we had the audio recorder sitting in the chair. That's where that was. That's in that, because in that whole 45-minute audio clip, that's the only thing I heard. It's the only thing I heard besides that, and then like the random tap.
Oh man.
Man, it's good you caught that. I might have missed that if I was reviewing all that.
Yeah.
I just kind of played it while I was looking at other locations we could potentially go. And then there's one more EVP before we get to the one piece of photo evidence and then the one piece of possible video evidence, which I think we kind of have an opinion on, but we're curious as to what you guys think. But this one is at the very end of the night when we decided to go upstairs and do like the REM pod, and we sat around the table in the room with the escape room, the old part of the theater, and that's when I left the voice recorder on the stage, and I just let it go. And I told myself, I said, okay, this is going to be this is going to be the clip of like an hour and a half of stuff. This is also probably the longest clip. This is like 30 seconds, and you can actually hear the resonance coming off of the stage and vibrating the microphone from something walking on it.
Interesting.
Did you guys hear it?
Yeah.
I hear what you're talking about, but do you hear the like little clicking?
Yeah, like the dinging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know. We were all at this point. We were all sitting still because you can this is near the end of the clip. It's at because the clip itself is 58 minutes long. The whole EVP session with it being there, and this is around like the 38-minute mark. So this is before we decided to just start packing stuff up.
And we were, for reference for anybody watching or listening, we are on the second story of the Opera House and on the opposite side of the building.
Sitting still.
Yeah.
I don't hear footsteps per se. I just hear
like the rumbling, like the microphones being shaken.
Mm-hmm. That's all I heard. And the only reason
But
I know what that sounds like is because we've used the microphone in our hand before, and it sounds exactly like that.
It's the same thing. But also the clicking.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't know what that could have been caused from.
I'm not sure either. Maybe it was the thing backstage that the book referenced.
Maybe.
Don't turn your back.
Mm.
We did. We very much did.
We specifically did. Actually.
Without knowing that was the thing.
Oh no, we knew.
No, we knew.
We knew.
Did we?
You didn't know.
You might not have known.
That's great. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Chris, because in that same clip, we were like, "Don't turn our backs to the thing backstage," and then I said, "Hey, Chris, come with me," and we went backstage and put the REM pod back there.
Yeah, that's the whole reason we put it back there.
Yep. Which we only got one interaction with the REM pod the whole night, and it gave us all a heart attack.
I know, we got two.
Besides the other blooper that's on this list.
No, we got two unexplained. The first one was with Chris in the main theater room.
That's the blooper.
Yeah. And then the other one was when we were at the table.
Oh, no. Yeah, it did go off with you when we first set it down.
Yeah, that's
Close
true.
enough to trigger it.
Mm-hmm. I forgot about
Weird
that.
because it never went off the REM pod anyway. Whenever we were asking questions, it would do it whenever it would interrupt a conversation, and no one was there near it to make it go off. And we tried to get close to it and see where we needed to touch it to make it go off.
So
and it wasn't. It wouldn't have been close enough.
We actually have video of it going off. The one time that it went off while we were at the table.
Yeah.
And that, I'm assuming it went off in a similar fashion the first time. I could have set that off.
Were you close enough?
Possibly. Depending on how sensitive that is, because it seems weird. It's not a universal sensitivity. Because both of those times I was moving quickly near it. Not immediately near it, but I was moving quickly. Because then when we tried to replicate it, I would go slowly and it wouldn't go off.
Wouldn't.
Yeah.
Bugged.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah, I watched that video 5 times. Frame by frame to see if I was even oh, did I go in the same spot the first time? I mostly did. But I went way slower the second time.
Fair. Okay, so now we'll do the photo evidence. Because there is one piece of photo evidence with 2 reference photos. And they were taken back to back. So, I would like to direct your attention to this area right here. So we were all down here. So the audio recorder is right here. And the REM pod is right here. And we are all back through here. I had turned around and just started taking photos to see if I could get anything on camera. Well, these 3 photos were taken back to back to back. So this is the before photo, this is the second photo, and this is the last photo. And this one, you can tell I'm getting ready. I'm moving. I'm pulling back. But I have no explanation. I'm usually not a big orb guy. Get it? Because it's a big orb. I'm usually not a big orb guy, but that is really weird to me.
So I'm also not a big orb guy, and I gotta say, if this is something, this is a tall motherfucker. Because if you look, it almost looks like in the reference photos, you can see like almost a spotlight effect coming down from the orb into the actual like immediate area in front of you in the walkway.
Mm-hmm.
So either your flash has caught something particularly reflective, causing all of this, or this is a tall spookum.
So the big thing for me is that this particular area, the front row of the balcony, is where people usually see the lady in white, according to all the videos I'd seen beforehand. So I don't know if because if that's an orb, it's taking up a seat. Like that's a seat right here, because there's another one right here, and then another one right here, and then so on and so forth. Which, by the way, what we were referencing earlier, this is the balcony. This up here is the segregated seating. Up here next to the exit sign, tucked away in the back. Like, it goes up in there, and that's where it is. But, I don't know. This, like, to me, I feel like I would have caught it in this one probably more so, because I'm moving a little more. So, usually when you move, you're more tendency to get, like, weird stuff. But in the other two, in this one, there's nothing. And I mean, the only difference in the photos, the only difference in the photos is that.
Sure,
it's weird.
Your
It's
angle is
weird that-
slightly different.
Well, yeah, slightly.
Well, it's weird that you don't track it like moving upward or moving downward.
No,
or
it's there and
anything, too.
gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like,
Also, all the
oh, go ahead.
all the green dots. That's our laser grid, by the way, too. So you're not crazy if you see little green dots everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like, there's also you were talking about like reflective stuff. Like, here's a reflective surface, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is in the same exact spot in both.
No,
photos.
unless it's a reflective dust particle.
Or, I mean, true. But what I'm not talking about.
I
the
would
big
suspect that's what this big orb is, and you probably didn't catch it on the first one because your angle does change slightly. And if we're talking about a dust particle reflecting flash, even that small of a change,
I mean, possibly
is probably enough.
Possibility. It's really the biggest thing for me about this is the distance as well, because I mean, that's far away. That's a good length between there and there, and it being that big, you would think it would be closer to the camera, or it would be a giant dust particle just hanging out.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been something we would have been able to like actually see if it was that big.
Mm. And the only light we had going other than the reflective, or sorry, not the flash and the laser grid, which oddly enough, there's a laser grid dot. And if these two indicators, there should be a laser grid dot right here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not one in the.
Yeah, go to the other reference photo.
Yeah, there's not a laser grid dot.
Oh yeah, there's
Where
not one
that-
right there.
No.
It's a weird gap. But yeah, so that's the only photo we got, and then we have this, which may not be anything, may be completely. I don't know if it's anything or not, but I thought that when I first watched it, there was something. There's been reports of a shadow figure going through here. That's why we had the laser grid set up. later through the night, our laser grid's batteries had completely depleted. So this was really late in the evening, almost before we left. I think that I saw something come right through here. We talked about it before the show and thought that it may just be the camera fluctuating, trying to focus. But we figured we would just give you guys the benefit of seeing it and see if you see anything. And if you do, you can just let us know in either the chat or the comments or something like that.
Mm.
But there's no audio or anything. But look at the tops here of the doors. And it's a blink if you miss it kind of thing. So I'll play it again.
I can't see it, but if you can see it, please let us know.
Yeah, like I thought that I see something like come through here and then come through here, like right there. It's a blink and you'll miss it kind of thing, but it could just be the camera fluctuating, trying to focus, because it is a dark room and the only light that's coming is off of a flashlight coming through up here.
Yeah, and you can see the camera struggling, like up along the balcony. Is a good reference point for that, because you can see how the script or the decoration up there is changing slightly, almost as if there's movement, but it's just painted out of balcony. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if it's anything. When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, is that what I think it is?" But now that we've watched it a few times, went over it, we're just kind of unsure. It may be. I think Chris is right. I think it's just the camera fluctuating. But again, if you do see something in there at all, feel free to let us know, because that would. I mean, you might see something. We might be looking in the wrong spot.
That is true.
That's how I felt with the face thing too, because I don't know if it, like, Chris didn't see it. I thought I did, but I don't.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We got daytime face. So this is another one. So here's the Rose Opera House. This is the exterior. This is when we were walking around Cynthiana, and it's right here, right, Haley, in this little like vicinity in the bottom right-hand corner window.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is an outside photo, and then here's another photo later that night. And this spot right here kind of looks like a face.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wait, are you talking? So, if you go the top, you're talking about the bottom right window in the
Top left
upper
corner.
left corner of that window, or the
Yes.
Yeah.
The upper left.
Yeah.
upper left corner of that window?
Mm.
Yes.
So, kind of looks like a face. Could be my mind playing tricks on me, but I see like a face with like, it looks like a suit jacket on, or some kind of jacket.
Yeah, this is another one where it's just like, I don't really know. I'm leaning more towards pareidolia, or where the human body is just, or the human mind is like, I want to see a face and stuff, so I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I don't see nothing.
I don't know though.
Yeah, it's just weird. So if you guys see anything in this at all that looks very, paranormally, let us know in the comments, or let us know in the chat here. And then we'll go back to the daytime photo for comparison.
At first I thought it was the sign reflecting, but the sign doesn't the pole reflects, but the sign doesn't in that window, so.
Right. But that's all the video and photo that we got. So I guess we'll do like a final thoughts, and then we'll do the blooper reel, because the blooper reel is the real golden points here.
Star of the show.
Especially when it came from the two skeptical people.
Yes.
Yeah.
We scared ourselves so bad. So my personal thoughts, I don't know if I'm gonna say that it's haunted, but if it is, it was really boring. Not boring, but like really light on interactions. Like, I would do it again, like I talked about earlier, but I definitely think that when the stuff that we got, and it looked like there had been a common trend, because in the book a bunch of other people had said it was kind of quiet for the last few nights. So I don't know, maybe we just gotta go again. Maybe that's what it is. I definitely feel like going to a place twice, I held up 3 fingers, going to a place twice is important for this kind of stuff because now we know, like, we spend a lot of time trying to debunk like the footsteps we heard earlier in the night and stuff like that. So now we're kind of used to what things should sound like and what things shouldn't sound like. So maybe we'll get something different. I don't know.
No, I agree with that.
Chris, how do you feel about this place?
I don't know if it's haunted.
Okay.
Unconvinced.
Unsolved. Haley?
I think it's haunted. I think it was just quiet. So I'm kind of in the boat of I would like to go back again and we would hopefully get more stuff. But I think a lot of the EVPs and then kind of the stuff we heard like throughout the night, I think it's spooky and it's haunted.
Okay. Abby?
Based on like the EVPs that we did get that we showed tonight and like the footsteps and stuff, I lean more towards it is haunted. But on the same front, it was very quiet for the biggest majority of the night. So I would definitely love to go back and hope that we get the chance to.
I think we will end up going back because not only was the Opera House just a kind of a neat experience, especially with it being our first one by ourselves and stuff too. Cynthiana's kind of nice. It's a pretty cool like little town that's got a lot of history to it. And I think next time maybe if we're all down, we could try and like talk to a few people because we did that before. Like we were just walking around town and people had asked us if what we were here for, and we told them, and they had told us like some encounters that they had and stuff like that. So it was kind of neat. I would like to get a little more of that. Maybe kind of see if there's something that we're missing. Maybe we don't have. Maybe it's a puzzle, but we just don't have all the pieces. Could be it.
Yeah, I'd like
Elegant
to do
way
more
to
of.
put it.
Right. I would like to do more of like the interview style, for like from getting the perspective of local people if they have any experiences in the Opera House. I would like to do that whenever we go back.
As far as like other evidence that other people have captured on their website, they have some cool stuff. They were on before they canceled the show. They were on the bio channels, My Ghost Story. There's a section on the Rose Opera House for that. And then there's a really good video that the mayor does during his ghost walks that they have every October. And they'll do a ghost walk around Cynthiana, and then they'll do 30 minutes in the Opera House. And he does like a little presentation. He's got a bunch of evidence. You can find that video over on YouTube. If you just search Haunted Cynthiana or Haunted Rose Opera House, it'll come up. And there's a couple of good EVPs there. Sorry, I have somebody asking to pay a visit.
Which pup is it? Oh,
It's Dapper Burn.
it's Barney.
Hey.
Because Emmett is with me.
He's got his...
No.
Yeah, so it can't be him.
No. But that's a really cool video that has some cool evidence on it that I would that evidence alone kind of compels me to kind of go back. So, but yeah, definitely check that out if you're interested in the Opera House. And as our final two little bits, we'll go ahead and play the fun parts. Before we're completely finished on this chapter of the Rose Opera House. So I'll play mine first because mine is like I'm scared. I got scared in this one, and then the next one is really loud. So the second one, if you are wearing headphones, please turn down the audio because that's the one with Chris and the Rimpot. So this is the bean okay?
He's flipping out because the neighbor's dogs are out and barking. So,
So this
That's
is Abby and Haley were upstairs in the hallway. Chris was on the balcony, and I was downstairs in the main part of the Opera House, standing exactly where this photo in the background was taken, doing an EVP session by myself. So yeah, guys. Chris, did you just take a picture? Chris, can you hear me? I think Chris just gave me a heart attack. I like how at the tail end you're like,
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry.
I didn't realize how quiet that, because I was standing on the balcony, like right there by the edge. So when you said over the radio, like, Chris, are you up there? I just said yeah, and you can barely hear it in the EVP. But
And then Tom just,
like,
it's just silence from Tom, and then Tom was like, "Can you hear me?"
yeah, yeah, because like I answered immediately. I just shouted yeah. I didn't realize how that sound did not carry down there.
It did not.
Yeah.
Hey, Leah.
Hi, Leah. Oh gosh.
This emoji that I'm typing in the chat is supposedly says elbow cough, but it looks like it's a little dabbing man. So
That is
Oh my
absolutely
God.
dabbing, man.
but yeah, so whenever we were Leah, you joined in right at the time when I got the crap scared out of me. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you. This is when so yeah, what I saw, and the reason I got startled is I was staring down in eternal darkness, and the only light in the entire building that I could see was the light from the exit sign at the end of the hallway on the or at the end of the theater room on the left. Chris, are you Catifer?
Yes, I am.
I love it.
Oh, I just saw where you subscribed. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thanks.
So I was staring at the exit sign, and then all of a sudden I just see a blinding white light. My first reaction was, "Oh my god!
Yeah.
I just witnessed an exit light blow." And all the power in the building is out, with the exception of that one thing.
Yeah,
I'm
and they're
gone.
off at the breaker. Like, we turned the breakers off, so there's no power going to those.
Yep, I was done. I was ready to dip.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear it. My voice. I'm just like, huh?
You really can't.
Oh my God.
And then this is the next one. This one's really good. Leah, I'm gonna warn you in advance, and to anyone
Yeah.
else watching in the future, this is really loud. Turn your volume on whatever you're listening to slightly down, and I wouldn't take it above 50%. But it's
Unless, of course, you're wanting to wake Chaz up.
in which case you have our blessing.
Then definitely turn it all the way up.
So this is when Chris came downstairs to talk to me after I had my mini heart attack, and he was getting ready to walk down the aisle right there.
I stepped on a landmine.
And Chris stepped on a landmine.
It dimmed right up. Oh, god damn it.
I thought you were gonna see it. So let's play that one more time for the kids at home.
It dimmed right up.
God damn.
I thought you were gonna see it. Chris almost stepped on the REM pod.
I did. It let me know it.
As if we didn't have enough equipment failure.
Yeah.
that night.
Yeah. So the two people who are the most skeptical of the spooky stuff got scared.
Abby, you're muted.
I just realized that.
One jump scare and one genuine terror.
Because you were there.
It was at this point I realized I'm I'm a chicken shit. So if all it takes is a camera flash to get me ready to leave, maybe I'm not cut out for it.
Yeah, your panic. I don't think I quite picked up the panic in over the radio. Like, I sort of picked up on it, like, oh, that probably scared him. But, like, listening to your audio of your panic, I was like, oh god, I really fucking scared him.
Yeah, scared the crap out of me. So yeah, those are honestly probably the highlights. the entire
Highlights of the trip.
Yeah.
So yeah. Overall, I think we had a fun time. We definitely want to go back. So something to look forward to in the future for sure. We are taking suggestions for places to go. Because we're trying to find our next haunted locale, and if there are some places that aren't as well known, maybe bringing some light to those places would be something we would want to do, especially if it's like if you got a haunted house, let us know.
I know.
You got a demon in your house? Hit us up.
I mean,
we're here for the cult stuff.
We're not licensed to deal with it if it is a demon, but we'll hang out.
We'll investigate it.
We'll show up with a boo buddy.
Beware, demon! I have this stuffed teddy bear. Talks. Conveyor.
As far as upcoming content, so we're going to try and do this every 2 weeks, barring, obviously, next weekend is the 4th of July, so we're not going to count that as a week because it's a holiday, so everybody's going to be gone. And then the next weekend we won't be, but then the 18th is going to be the next one of July, I believe. Going back and making sure. Yeah, so July 18th. It will be the next one, and we will be talking about our trip to Cincinnati. And hey, demons, it's me, your boy. Squad rolling up. # squad goals. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about our trip to Cincinnati, the one that almost killed me.
Yes. Gosh.
Let's not relive that.
In a literal sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Oh my God! Can we please get a priest to bless our squirt guns?
Yes.
With holy water.
Yes.
That's an amazing idea.
Yeah, I love it. 10 out of 10. But we're going to be talking about our adventure to Indiana. Is it Indiana or Ohio? Ohio. To a little town called Posttown, and the haunted Posttown Schoolhouse will be our next Sunday Spooky Squad Sunday show. And then
Posttown Elementary.
We have some photos. That was actually our first official investigation too, as the squad. So that'll be a fun one. There's some fun experiences we had there, and some really awkward and melancholy experiences as well. That'll be a fun one to talk about. So, and then after that we'll have a special one. I actually really enjoy the one we're going to talk about. These next 2 Sunday shows are going to be fun, I think, because one of them inspired us to do this. So
yeah.
But yeah, if you have any suggestions of places
been a big
to go,
happy birthday present to Abby.
Yay!
The first one was the one trip was the birthday. The rest is birthday to all of us.
Yep.
Especially when we turn 30 and we look back on this and go, "Oh my God."
I'm 30.
Oh.
Oh man.
But
soon I'll be one of the ghosts.
You'll be.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I almost tried. I tried real hard.
Changing the story up.
You did.
Too hard.
Not in my car.
Not today.
I went hard in the paint.
Congratulations, your VW Tiguan is now haunted.
I won't do anything, but just make sure that every single time you listen to the last podcast, I'll just switch. I'll either skip it or rewind to the Bud Light Lime jokes exclusively.
Yes.
That's how you know.
Yeah.
But definitely let us know if you got a place that you want us to check out, or that you are interested in investigating yourself. We would love to hear it either in the comments or in the chat or on Instagram. You can just message us there. We're pretty responsive. One of the four of us, with the exception of Chris, he probably won't answer, but the rest of us will probably answer.
No, I probably won't.
Okay.
Can I find you on Spotify? We're not on Spotify yet.
Yeah.
But that's a good question.
That's a good question. So far, we're only on YouTube and Instagram. We got and I guess technically Coffee.
Yeah.
Which you can, shameless plug time. In the summary, in the description here, there is a link to our Coffee page. So if you want to support the channel, if you want to support what we do, anything as low as 25 cents. I think the minimum is 50 cents. From 50 cents up is greatly appreciated. If you're interested in any kind of merch, we're open to the possibility of doing that as a reward for coffee tier donations.
So let us know what you would want.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, I think the only thing that we have in mind is we know where to get T-shirts. That's about it. And we can also make decals. Actually, Abby can make decals.
Yep.
So if you want a Spooky Squad sticker to put on your car, let us know. Trying to think if there's anything else.
We should figure out how to get on Spotify, though. I don't know how good listening this show would be, but we should try it.
I think the conversation. I think maybe if we just reference hey, if you want to see any of this stuff, you need to go to the YouTube video to see it.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of the experiences and the history and stuff would be kind of neat to listen to because it's not it wouldn't be a very long podcast episode, so you could do it on your commute to work.
Oh, it's stopping Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like 90% of our evidence so far has been audio anyway, so.
It's true. Yeah. We have had well, I guess technically some of the audio that we got was from video footage. So
I
guess that would be fine on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Especially if there's enough requests for it. But is there any final notes that you guys want to end on?
No.
Any questions from the people watching? The awkward silence.
As we wait for the lag.
Yeah.
But yeah, like and subscribe because that helps us out too. We also have a couple of YouTube videos up. We've got one from we have a highlight it's a minute long. It's a video clip from our investigation before this in Whitesburg, Kentucky, at the Harry M. Calda Library, and we also have a nice little preview video of this investigation where you can see some of the nice areas of Cynthiana. Which I would definitely check out because the graveyard is really cool, and some of the footage we got while we were out and about in town is really neat too. So you can kind of get a feel for the small town vibes for sure. And we also have our last. You can check out our last live stream, which if you're watching this in the future, it's going to be right there in the top right corner for you to click on to watch the previous one. So. But until next time, guys, who wants to say it this week? Chris said it last time.
Pop quiz. What did I say?
Hey, spooky.
Maybe we should all do it at the same time in unison.
Yeah.
Finger guns the cameras.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll do it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Stay spooky.
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky.
We're not being held at gunpoint.
Not at all.
I feel like the outro should, instead of music, it should just be like our normal conversation.
Yeah.
Oh.
So about this sandwich.